Hopefully.
Right now, I have a little bit of the sunburn. I go on the dogs, so.
Okay, it is 6 o'clock. We will call the city council regular meeting on Monday, July 13th, 2026 to order. Will all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will the clerk please call the roll, please?
Mayor Donovan,
Here.
Councilwoman Niner. Here. Councilwoman Doomer. Here. Councilman Patterson.
Here.
Councilwoman Elliott. Here.
A quorum being present, we will now entertain a motion to, we'll go on to the approval of the agenda. Are there any issues with the agenda as presented? Hearing none, it will be approved by unanimous consent. We'll now move on to the consent agenda. Are there any issues with the consent agenda as presented? Hearing no issues, it will be approved by unanimous consent. Now we'll go into presentations. For the last time, Captain Clay.
What do you want? Yeah, let's go through our face that way. Yeah, is that all right? Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Okay. All right, raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Dennis Clay,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the state of Missouri,
and the state of Missouri,
and that I will honestly
and I will honestly,
and to the best of my
and to
ability
the best of my ability,
discharge the duties of my respective office
discharge the duties of my respective office
to which I have been appointed
to which I have been appointed,
and according to the laws of the state of Missouri
and according with the laws of the state of Missouri
and the ordinances of the city of Pleasant Hill, Missouri.
and the ordinances of the city of Pleasant Hill, Missouri. I made it.
You did it.
Welcome, Chief Clay.
Thank you, sir.
We'll get your plaque changed for the next meeting. How about that?
There you go.
We're good. All right, we will now go on to another presentation, this time by one of the community not-for-profits that we have. I invite the Pleasant Hill Theatrical Guild to come up and present.
Why not?
See how far she
Do it on stage.
is the mic on?
It is.
Okay.
It is.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay. Hi. My name is Susanna Wheeler, and I serve as the president of the Pleasant Hill Theatrical Guild. Joining me this evening is our treasurer, Lisa Heimer, our secretary, Katie Short, a board member, Hank Meeks, and a board member, Mayor Don Donovan. The Pleasant Hill Theatrical Guild is a 501c3 non-for-profit organization dedicated to promoting and enriching the performing arts in our community. Since our founding in 2019, we have grown to a board of 10 members with one current vacancy. We are especially proud to include a high school student as a junior board member, helping us connect with our younger audiences through our school's social media, TikTok, and Instagram. Over the past several years, we have produced 16 theatrical productions featuring performers in the ages ranges of 1-year-old to 76. While we proudly carry the Pleasant Hill name, our productions have become a regional community effort, welcoming actors, volunteers, and audiences from Harrisonville, East Lynn, Lee Summit, Greenwood, Holden, and other many communities surrounding us. Our goal is to present 3 to 4 productions each year, including traditional plays, interactive dinner theater, a summer musical, and a Christmas production. We began with a radio play of Yes, Virginia, There is a Santa Claus in 2020. Since then, we've staged productions such as The Beverly Hillbillies, complete with a real truck on the floor of the Pleasant Hill United Methodist Church gym, Steel Magnolias at the historic People's Theater, and The Music Man, where Mayor Donovan had the opportunity to play a mayor before becoming an actual mayor in real life. And Matilda, which became our first sold-out production. We are currently rehearsing this summer's production of The Addams Family, which will be performed July 24th and 25th at the Pleasant Hill United Methodist Church. We hope each of you will have the opportunity to attend. We have some information about that. It features what may be our largest and most ambitious set that we have built year to date. While the actors often receive the spotlight, community theater depends on many volunteers working behind the scenes. We are always looking for people to help build sets, create costumes, manage props, operate lights and sound, sell concessions, take tickets, and assist in countless other ways. Businesses also play a vital role by sponsoring productions or simply displaying our posters to help spread the word. We appreciate the city's continued support of organizations like ours in allowing temporary promotional signs. Those signs are one of the most effective and affordable ways to let the community know about upcoming performances. One of our accomplishments to which we are most proud is the creation of our scholarship program for local theater students. High school seniors who have participated in at least one Guild production are eligible to apply. This past spring, we were honored to award 4 scholarships to students representing 3 different school districts. The Pleasant Hill Theatrical Guild exists because of the generosity of our volunteers, our sponsors, audiences, and community partners. We are grateful for everyone continuing to support and look forward to providing quality theatrical entertainment and educational opportunities for many years to come. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you.
See, that wasn't so bad, right? I think she only had a few hours with that script. Normally we have months. So, all right, we are coming to that part of our agenda for public comment. If you have a comment, please step to the podium. I ask that you give your name and address, and that you keep your comments directed to City Council and be no more than 3 minutes long, please.
John Self, 205 South Campbell. I would like to offer my sincere gratitude and thank you to the Pleasant Hill Parks and Facilities Department for their restoration of the lights at the memorial for the veterans down next to the post office. It's been 3 years I've been asking for that, and it looks great. And I want to say thank you for getting that done. I understand everything takes longer when you're in city government, but every time I drive by, even in the daylight, I think about the fact that somebody took the time to make that right, and I really appreciate it. And I know a lot of our veterans in town do too. I would not be me if I didn't come up here without at least one complaint. The traffic situation over here on this intersection is still not resolved, and I just wanted to bring that up, that you could still make a left onto Boardman without actually having to stop for any traffic that's heading northbound off Boardman. One of these days, someone's gonna get wrecked there, so might need to look at that and see what we can do about it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Last name is Maya, which I don't expect any of you to be able to pronounce that name because it's French. 707 Henley. Every time I come up here, it's more or less a complaint. But fortunately, this is not a major complaint, it's very minor. I have to ask about the fireworks. Why do we have rules on limitations of the fireworks if they're not being respected by the citizens of Pleasant Hill? And it's like, why do we have the rules? You know, the fireworks begin during the 4th of July, a few days prior to the time that y'all set, and for 2 or 3 days, or 2 or 3 evenings afterwards. And I understand the kids want to play and stuff like this, but then the next thing is that these kids walk down the street with fireworks and go on other people's property and just throw the fireworks. I don't blame the kids, I blame the parents. I wish I had constructive criticism other than reprimanding the parents, but anyway, it was just questions. I mean, can these rules not be reinforced, or as far as the time limits? I don't know. I don't expect the police force to be able to patrol this because there's just too many. So anyway, just a.
Well, I appreciate you bringing that to our attention, and I'll have a conversation with our new chief.
Well, I'm not faulting the police department. It's just that's
Well,
just
I
too
mean,
much.
it's an ordinance that, you know, if it's not being followed, that would be something that we need to look into, so.
Well, problem is, people on my street have dogs that are scared. So we follow the time limits so that after a certain time, the dogs calm down, we can take them out.
That's right.
But the one that gets me the most are these that sound like bombs that go off. And they go right through you. I don't really suffer from cardiac issues. And one went through me and stopped my heart.
I can tell you, somebody near the clinic was shooting off quarter sticks. That's what they sound like to me. And you hear that boom. I mean, I live not too far from you, and it still sounds pretty close. But at the clinic, it was really close. It was very, the animal clinic, and those dogs are patients, but when they were doing those within the allotted time. But obviously, there's been other things going on since the
it just surprises me how much money people spend on this stuff.
Yeah.
I understand, younger, more, but anyway, appreciate your time. Thank you.
Sure.
Hi, my name is Dana Rogers. I live at 1200 Country Club. I know some of you I don't. I'm just here to talk about the conversation that continually comes afloat regarding removing our dispatch. So I saw that's on the agenda for the night. I just wanted to go over a few things real quick. Currently nationwide, 1 in 4 dispatch positions are vacant due to stress, money across the board for every department. It's a hard job, and I would invite anybody in here to go sit with a dispatcher for a night shift, not a day shift. That's a bunch of calls. I moved here in 1983. Our police department was open 24 hours a day. Eliminating dispatch will eliminate that. There will not be someone in the building 24 hours a day. I don't think people realize, and maybe they do, I know nothing's been set in stone. There are a lot of things that our dispatchers do that besides answer the phone. They take walk-ins off the street, so if you are, I've had people that you see people driving that are being harassed, they drive to a police department. Dispatcher's gonna let them in the building. I mean, there's a lot more roles to dispatching than just answering the phone. They are our first responder with the community. I know the state of Missouri doesn't recognize them as first responders, but I assure you, for every suicidal victim they've ever spoken on the phone with, they are a first responder. So there would be no walk-ins, no, if you need copies of your police reports, any interaction that you would have to have with the police department admin that they could normally leave behind for you, you would have to go there before 4:30 in the afternoon to get that. So, because now we're talking business hours. So our police department is currently open 24 hours a day. And so like I said, I just think that everybody, before anyone were to ever take that away from our city, they provide so much. Their liaisons between not just our police department, their liaisons for the sheriff's department, and not to take anything away from Cass County Sheriff's Department, I'm sure they're great, but keep in mind also the departments that they dispatch for don't typically have officers at night. Cass County Sheriff's deputies are typically covering those cities at night. We have our own police department. And again, not to take anything away from those dispatchers, but we also have our own policies and procedures. Not that they're gonna differ that much, but the reality of it is we need our own people in place to deal with, a police department this size. So our dispatchers, again, they're providing way more than just answering the phone. They're literally a connection between our community and our police department. Our community, the fire department, they don't talk with the fire department necessarily, but they talk to our community. So I would just, like I said, this gets brought up every few years, and I don't understand why. I mean, and we did just renovate the dispatch and jail, which is a whole other thing. We just renovated that. So, and if someone were to be arrested at night and there to be an emergency, you're gonna have to let them out because dispatch is gonna be in the building to watch the prisoner. So I just think that's something we need to take into account before we get rid of our dispatchers. I know, like I said, it's brought up every few years, so I just don't understand that, so. Please.
Thank you.
Agreed.
Does anyone else have any comments?
Relax, it's all good. R.C. Hebert, 1601 South North Road. I'm a self-appointed committee of one to say thank you for your response to opening the time capsule. The results aren't necessarily what we all intended, but I think they're going to get there. And for somebody that was there 50 years ago, and there's not too many of us left, I don't think. It's very, I don't know if comforting, but thrilling to know that you went ahead and made the effort to follow up on what we did. The only advice I would say out of there is 50 years goes by just like that. Thank you, and I'll try not to tear anything up.
Thank you, Dr. Hebert.
Anyone else? Okay, then we will move on to item number 5, a special request application for a temporary street closure of Paul Street for August 2nd, 2026.
I will take this one. We have a young couple that is going to be getting married at the memorial, or the gazebo on August 2nd, and have also secured the rental on the memorial building for that same day. So what they would like to do is to close off Paul Street temporarily from 4:30 to 6 p.m. on August 2nd, so that they can have the safe passage from the gazebo area to the memorial building, during the time of their wedding.
I don't have my calendar in front of me. Is that a Saturday?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's a Sunday. Oh, it's a Sunday.
It's a Sunday. Sunday.
It is a Sunday.
Okay.
There's not anything else going on.
I
Just the other anything else
I
going
do
on.
not see anything. Here's the happy couple.
Does council have any questions or concerns?
I don't have any concerns with it.
Then I will entertain a motion to approve the special event application.
I'll make a motion to approve the special events application for the street closure
I'll
on
second.
August 2nd.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there anyone from the public that has any concerns? Then we will have a roll call vote, please.
Councilwoman Niner,
Yes.
Councilwoman Doomer,
Yes.
Councilman Patterson,
Yes.
Councilman Elliott.
Yes.
That's passed.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to item 6, a special request for the use of Gray's Lot.
Hello, Jennifer Rowe. We're doing a Dolly Day, Dolly Parton Day, one of our third Thursdays for the shops on First Street. So we're going to do, I think, a DJ and photo ops in Gray's Lot. That's it. Well, that's part of it.
That's August 27th.
Is that the Thursday? Yes. Yeah. No, it's not. Yeah, it's August 27th. Yeah, you can
That's the
come.
4th Thursday.
Yeah, you know, I'm thinking Harrisonville has third Thursdays, and I participate in those too. So yes, it is the fourth Thursday. That's why I was like, wait a minute.
We won't hold that against you.
Okay, well, I have dual citizenship, so.
Are there any questions or concerns from the council? If that's the case, I will entertain a motion to approve the special request.
I'll make a motion to approve the special event.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there anyone else from the public that needs to speak? And we will have a roll call vote, please.
Councilman Niner,
Yes.
Councilman Doomer,
Yes.
Councilman Patterson.
Yes.
Councilman Elliott.
Yes.
It's approved.
All right, thank you guys.
Okay, next on the agenda is bill number 26-25, the proposed resolution authorizing the city administrator to execute a task agreement with Allstate Consultants for engineering services associated with the first 3 water line replacement projects identified in the city's owner supervised 5-year drinking water improvement plan.
Okay, I guess I'll take this one. Thank you, Mayor. What we've proposed here, I've gotten with Allstate, and if you look in your packet, I think it's page 15 and 16, there's a whole list of projects that we've got, and there's some engineers' estimations on those costs, or on those projects. And the first 3 are the ones that we're looking with this task form and engineering services to get approved, to go ahead and get these drawn up and into production and to the bid phase. And if you got any questions on the project itself, just ask.
Is there any questions or concerns from the council?
No, I know there are people on the College Hill side that are greatly looking forward to this.
Then I would like to entertain a motion to approve bill number 2625.
I'll make a motion to approve bill number 26-25.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there anyone from the public that would care to speak on bill 26-25? Does council have any other discussion about it?
Just to be clear, this is already budgeted for, right?
This is within our bond,
Okay.
the bonds that we've already
Okay.
passed, so yes, we do have a budget.
Just to clarify that, we have
the bond money, your next agenda item is the budget amendment to use those bond proceeds in the operating budget.
Any other questions from the council? Then we will have a roll call vote, please.
Councilwoman Niner,
Yes.
Councilman Duma, yes, Councilman Patterson,
Yes.
Councilman Elliott.
Yes.
Bill number 26-25 is approved. We'll now go on to item 8, which is the budget amendment 2027-04 for the water line replacement engineering services.
Good evening. So as I just mentioned, these bond proceeds sit in our MOSIP account, which is Missouri Securities Investment Program account, where we earn interest. And so this budget amendment moves those funds from that account into our operating budget to actually do these projects. So this budget amendment is for $193,000.
What's our rate in MOSA?
I think right now on average is about 3.5%.
Are there any questions or concerns from council?
Are we legally bound to use that, or can we put these funds in like CDs to get a better rate, or?
Yeah, we're not legally bound. MOSIP tends to have the highest interest rates for us. And what's nice about that account is that we can move money in and out at any time. So it's their liquid series that right now has the highest interest rate. So it makes it really easy for us to use that money when needed.
Okay.
Any other questions or concerns? Is there a motion to approve budget amendment 2027-04?
I'll make a motion to approve budget amendment 2027-04.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there anyone from the public that cares to speak on this? Is there any other discussion from council?
What kind of timeline are we looking at on these other projects on the list? Next year? Year after?
As soon as these projects get into the construction phase, we will start working on the next 3.
Okay.
So it'll be just a continuous projects nonstop.
I just wanted it on the record.
Yep.
That's
That's the plan.
And I think it's worth noting, so right now, we're slated to receive about $1 million in federal funds for these projects, and we would get that money next spring. So some of these projects will get that federal money from our funds.
Okay, if there's no other questions or comments, we'll have a roll call vote, please.
Councilman Niner,
Yes.
Councilman Duma,
Yes.
Councilman Patterson,
Yes.
Councilman Elliott.
Yes.
That is passed. Okay, now the item for discussion, dispatching services.
I'm going to ask that Chief Clay join me over here, because we're going to take this presentation together. And while she's coming up on the screen, I want to at first, put it out there that we recognize that this is a really tough conversation to have. These conversations are always tough to have when they involve people, and there are people involved in these discussions that we're having. So we're trying to approach them as sensitively as possible, and knowing that there are people involved here. But at the end of the day, it is our job to identify areas that we can improve, and that so as I was saying, it is our duty to bring forward areas that we believe we can make improvements in, identify areas for efficiencies and to be more effective with our tax dollars. So tonight, we are going to be talking about the sustainability of continuing our in-house dispatch services. Tonight's conversation is meant to be informational. There's no decision being asked of you all tonight. We have asked the sheriff's office to be here to answer any questions that you all might have. Chief Lopez is also in the room. If you have any questions for him at any point during this conversation. So really what we're going to talk about tonight is the current environment that we have for dispatch, kind of what our history is, our staffing levels, things like that, just to make sure we're all starting from an equal playing field of where things are at. We're then going to talk about some challenges that we face, and as was pointed out earlier, that a lot of dispatching centers face. So we'll kind of go over those things, and then at the end we'll talk about an alternative that we've identified and a recommendation that we have as staff on how we can kind of solve some of these challenges that we've identified. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to our new chief, who's going to, and I hate putting him in this seat to do this so early into his time as chief, but I just want to make sure that we're doing this conversation justice, and I don't know the ins and outs of dispatch in the ways that someone that works in the department would. So I will turn it over to Chief Clay.
Good evening, all. So, I guess we'll start with some history of dispatch. So back in, around 72, 73, we talked to the FedGov. They came out with a grant with the Law Enforcement Assistance Administration that allowed us at that time to set up a dispatch center. As you can imagine, in 1972 or 73, we were probably just got two-way radios, honestly. So since that time, advancements in technology, advancements in a lot of things that make dispatch function have taken place. And we've, over the last couple of years, experienced a lot of those challenges as they've come up. So currently, just to kind of put into purview what we're talking about, Pleasant Hill Fire has not been dispatched through our agency since, I believe, 2007 timeframe. In essence, what that does is that creates a delay anytime someone calls for ambulatory services, fire, EMS. So they call and they say, my house is on fire right now. We have to then transfer that call already to Cass County, and then make sure that they've got the call to transfer out to fire, and then fire can respond. So that has been kind of an ongoing source of conversation. We've been doing the best we can with that transfer delay, but many times that's a significant problem when people are counting on us to get there quickly. This obviously is, as you heard, has not been the first time we've had to approach this subject. It's been approached numerous times in the past many years, and so here we are putting out some information for you. So let's talk about Emergency Services Board. So the ESB was created around the 911 tax 2012-ish, right? That's where they get their tax funding from. The ESB administers those funds and oversees the provision of 911 service. There are a handful of players that go into that. Mid-America Regional Council is one. 911 is one. They kind of manage that piece of it. Motorola has there's a ton of agencies that have an interest in dispatch. We operate one of 5 PSAPs currently in our county, which is Public Safety Answering Point, if you didn't know what that meant. There's us, Harrisonville, Raymore, Belton, and obviously Cass County. We do pay a shared fee for the use of the record management system, which we went to 2023 timeframe when we switched over to what's called Central Square. Up until that point, a lot of agencies were using a whatever worked for their agency concept. What this did was allow us all to be connected and share information where it was necessary to do so. In a study in 2018, obviously, was done, and that's what the end result of that study was. It was like, hey, we're all working toward the same thing. How do we do it more efficiently and effectively? Thus, Central Square was brought on board, and we've been using that since about, I think, the beginning of 2023 is when we migrated all that data over. So, current staffing. So as far as I can remember, and I may be mistaken, but as far as I can remember, which goes back to 2013-ish, we've had 1 dispatch supervisor and 4 dispatchers as far as our table of organization. So the idea was you have someone that can supervise that, fill and flow where needed, and we would have 4 staff that can manage the dispatch operations at any given time. We have been short-staffed consistently since 2018, and we've been spotty since even 2013. So I would venture to guess that since 2013, we have been full staff very, very seldom and for a very short period of time. One of the obviously glaring issues is the pace of pay increases for dispatch centers across the county. We have not kept pace with any of the other agencies. To my knowledge, we are by far the lowest paying dispatch agency within the county, as you can see with the numbers up here. What does dispatch do? They do a lot. They handle 911 and non-emergency calls. They contact public works after hours. They send animal control out. They work with the public when someone walks in our lobby and nobody's up in that public lobby. They can push a button and they can talk to somebody in dispatch. They also transfer, as I alluded to earlier, fire and medical calls, and currently they monitor our PD security system. We just installed a new system. We're all still getting familiar with it, but that's one of the things that they currently do for us. So here's our call for service breakdown. So that looks pretty interesting. With the way I'll explain this, anytime that we contact dispatch as an officer on the road, they open an incident. And that incident then can be considered a call for service. Okay, so it doesn't mean necessarily someone called us, and it doesn't mean that an event actually took place. It just means somebody on the radio said, hey, this is me, this is what I'm doing, and they enter that call, okay? Right now with extra patrol, animal control, and business checks, in 2023, we had 10,374 incidents. 2024, we had 7,828. 2025, we were at 7,457. In 2026, we were at 5,340 through July 9th, which is when I went back into the research for the slide. Without those calls, we're at 7,428 in 2023, 6,498, 6,394, and 3,941. So just for full transparency, if I go out and put fuel in my patrol car, and I don't know where this came from, it's just what we've always done, I call dispatch and I say, hey, dispatch, it's me, I'm getting ready to put gas in my car. And they go, all right. And they log that in the call for service log, right? So those, when you subtract those kind of things out, building checks, which is where we do Project Night Eyes, those things can all be entered into our mobile data terminals, right?
So
into the code section.
The column on the left is including
Yeah.
Project Night Eyes.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So the one on the left includes all of those things. The one on the right, I took and extrapolated it out so you can get a better picture of what those look like, which is still, for the size of our agency, is still pretty decent call volume. Okay. So if you look at the bottom, I'm sorry. Okay. No, you're okay. If you look at the bottom on each one, you'll see approximately 20.5 calls a day. And then when you take those out, approximately 17.5 calls a day is about average for where we handle calls. Okay. So the current challenges we face, turnover history. It's been a lot, and to a point made earlier, we've had a lot of people come in and out of dispatch. Since 2022, we've hired 12. Right now, we're down 1, and regardless of what happens moving forward in October, we'll be down 2 because we have another one that has got other plans moving forward. What that does is it puts a lot of strain on our staff that we currently have because they're having to work a lot of overtime. And in the case of the last about year now, we've had both sergeants, a lieutenant, and a road officer having to fill in for dispatch shifts, which obviously is problematic because you've got sergeants that are supposed to be supervisory on the road, a lieutenant who's supposed to be doing investigations and other duties, and one officer that isn't being an officer because he's filling a role in dispatch. So we want to solve that problem. Generally, it takes 3 to 4 months to train a new dispatcher. During that time, we're paying 2 people to sit in the console so one can learn and one is basically teaching them what to do. And that's assuming that the person that's training gets it all in the first 3 to 4 months. Okay, if they don't, then we extend that out and hope that eventually we can correct those things in such a way as they'll be able to go out on their own in the dispatch role. Other costs associated with the turnover, obviously. You got overtime costs for people that are hourly and they're filling in. You have the turnover costs of the hiring, the screening, the interview process, the initial testing. There's those costs that are associated with it. And then again, obviously the overtime for other folks having to fill in. Next. There you go. Officer, sergeants, lieutenant covering dispatch shifts, not on the road. Our records custodian who came from dispatch is also filling in down there in dispatch.
Is that Ryan?
That's Ryan.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. So when he's doing that, obviously he's not getting to records requests. What he's learned to get really good at is taking those requests with him to go down to dispatch, and then he can kind of double tap, right? Obviously that reduces our efficiency. It reduces our effectiveness. It reduces our service to our community, and that causes issues for me because we want to do the best we can by our community, right? The other huge part is the mental fatigue, the physical fatigue, and the burnout that someone experiences working 700 additional overtime hours a year. That's a cost. So they're more than willing to do it, and I love them for it, but it wears on.
You're talking 12 hours a week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Generally, that's on the lighter side. So last minute schedule changes, that's another wrench that gets thrown in the works, obviously, right? Hey, someone is scheduled, they called in on Monday and they quit. Oh, okay. Adjust, right? So especially when you're already short-staffed to begin with. And then the work-life balance is obviously pretty not good. So it's not good for them when they're there that much. Some of the technology issues we've run into, and this has really been prevalent in the last couple of years. This new system that we utilize is very, very robust, which is awesome. However, I'm not an IT guy. None of my officers are IT guys. None of my dispatchers are IT people, right? So a lot of those things that have to be updated and changed and fixed and implemented, it puts us behind the power curve exponentially. I can't tell you how many times, in a very pleasant way, I've gotten notifications from the Emergency Services Board folks that said, hey, we only were trying to implement this 3.5 months ago. Where are you at? And we're like, oh, okay, we'll get it figured out. And it causes a backlog of issues. And if we don't get that stuff updated, we're not compliant. When we're not compliant, that causes other issues. So you can kind of see the snowball effect there.
And Kristen, we don't have a dedicated IT person on city staff, right?
We do.
Do we contract out for that, or?
Yes, we do have a contract for outsourced IT services, and I was asking Amy this today. They provide help that they can, but since they're not, dedicated to police or dispatcher things, I think there's some struggles there with that outsourced service.
One of the other issues we obviously run into, we don't have subject matter experts on staff for how robust that system is. And I've had conversations with some of those folks, super intelligent, they know this system inside and out. When they start talking, just being honest, sometimes I go, what? I have no idea what you just said. because it's a lot of it's that technical. It's just
It's foreign language.
Yeah, it is what it is. So that many times if we have issues, which is they've all offered, so it's not a huge problem most times, I can reach out to another agency's subject matter expert and say, hey, can you guys tell me what button to push, or more importantly, what one not to push, so I don't crash this entire system, right? It's just another step we've got to take with that stuff. So we come to this.
Can I ask you a question first?
Yes, please.
Before you do that.
Yes.
So I just want to make sure that I heard you correctly or that I read that correctly. Currently, our fire and ambulance, we do not dispatch those from the police department.
Yeah.
Calls up, or you send that somewhere else and then it gets dispatched
Yeah,
out?
so what happens right now is when you call our dispatch center, the dispatcher will pick up the phone and generally, and correct me if I'm wrong, they will say something to the effect of, Pleasant Hill Police Department, you need police, fire, or EMS. The person will respond. If it's a medical call, we have to let them know, okay, hang on a second, we got to get you transferred to the appropriate place, and we've got to contact Cass County Dispatch, which our fire protection district is dispatched through, make sure that call gets transferred over, and then they take over the call and they go ahead and dispatch fire.
So what you're saying is if we consolidate with the county, that's going to eliminate that relay?
That's correct.
So it would actually be faster?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. In essence, you're removing the middleman, for lack of a better way to put that. There's no more delay because it's going straight to the source. Did I answer your question?
Yep.
Okay.
Because our fire ambulance are already on this.
Right.
Okay.
They are.
Okay.
Yes. So consolidation with the Cass County Sheriff's Office. So you can see up there is a fee for dedicated dispatch service. Shows the amounts there and what that call after that looks like. So you're at $12 a call. There's a dedicated municipal dispatcher inside of their center down there, right? So they have basically 3 on at any given time. They have one that's handling Cass County traffic. They have one that's handling any municipal traffic that's out in the county that county dispatches for. And then they have a supervisor also that can float in between wherever they need help with that. Again, we just kind of talked about the citizen experience. In the olden days, we used to have police officers were in an officer room that was right next to dispatch, right? So at that time, that made sense because the officer, if he or she were back at the police department, they could hear the calls coming before they went out over the air.
Well, the fire department was down there too.
Right, it was.
So it was all
right there. We are no longer co-located like that. So dispatch is downstairs, the officers are upstairs. So that kind of way we used to do it, we just don't do it anymore. In fact, I've mandated, and it was mandated prior to my tenure, that officers can go down and visit with dispatch, say hi, see how you're doing, but get out of dispatch because it's a distraction for the dispatcher. So that's one way we kind of solve that problem. The concerns have been brought up regarding, who's going to watch somebody that's been put in our holding cell. Well, instead of relying on our dispatch folks to look at the camera, we actually, I feel like, need to have somebody physically every 10 to 15 minutes walking into the jail cell, making contact with that person, and that's the officer's responsibility anyway. I don't want to put that on the dispatch person, not because they can't do it, because they absolutely can. But if it's kind of like, if I took you into custody, then I'm responsible for your care until you're released then from custody. So that's another concern that I've heard brought up. After hours entities. So in discussing how that would all kind of work and flow, we've been considering like, okay, great, if we do this, how do people get in touch with Public Works? Or something happened at the parks, how's that gonna work? And that's something we're working through.
So like the non-emergency.
The non-emergency, yeah.
Okay.
Or like, you know, heaven forbid we get another rash of water ruptures during the winter time. You know, how are we gonna make contact with that?
Why would you?
Joey's giving this.
I didn't mean anything by that. I was just saying, but that's Public Works kind of thing, or Parks kind of thing. We still have a plan in place to reach out and get in touch with those folks. So it reduces our IT related burdens.
So would there be call forwarding on the non-emergency line to like an officer on the beat?
It would still, if somebody called Public Works, right, it would still transfer to, yes, Cass County Dispatch, and they would reach out to one of us.
An officer and pass it along.
Correct.
So we would not staff a non-emergency? Like, we wouldn't staff non-emergency, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I'd like to see somebody down there, to Dana's point, I'd like to see someone down there at least till like 7.
Yeah,
maybe
yeah, I
8.
mean, that's something we're working through and talking through over there is how, I mean, there's a couple of things that we have to work out. If this decision is made to move forward on this, there's some things we'll have to definitely sit down and work out.
We need to bridge the gap.
Yeah.
Split the difference.
Yep. And I think that's something that we can definitely put in place. It's just gonna be, you know, what direction are we gonna go?
And we will keep our records management person, or does that?
Our records custodian will stay in place.
Okay.
Yep. Reduces our cost share for the PSAP related expenses, reduces liability with, you know, dispatch and having people in there that that's not necessarily what they've been 100% trained on. Our folks are good when they're in there, but you can, if you ever listen to the radio when I have a supervisor in there, it's a different experience. I'll leave it at that. It's a little bit different experience because they're used to dealing with people out on the road. So
you mentioned, I mean, clearly on the graphic, we're paying 20% less than basically everyone else in the county. What are their turnover numbers? Do they have more or less the same?
It is my understanding right now that they are full staff.
But what are their turnover numbers?
I don't know the answer to that.
Well, I do
Because
have.
money can fix things, but at a certain point, it doesn't. You know, I mean,
I concur.
And I did have a question. In 2021, we did a rate study and we did a salary bump, I think for all, was dispatch not included in that, or are they that low across the board, does anybody know?
When we did a bump, and I'm not sure if it was 2021 or what, because it was recently, but my time's off. We did do a rate increase for the police department, and we didn't do it for the entire city. It was just the police department, because at that time we were having such trouble with turnover officers and dispatch, so we did raise them up, higher in the salary, not where we needed to be, like across the board, but we did get that department all raised up at that point. I haven't done anything major like that since, but it's been at least 3 years at least.
Did it include dispatch?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, all police personnel were raised up.
Okay, just because I'm the numbers person, I'll take the numbers slide. One thing that we do need to think about is what the financial comparison looks like on this. So our current annual cost for in-house dispatch services is about $420,000 a year. That's what our budgeted costs are. And then I just wanted to show, if you break that out based on our cost per service, that's about $56 per call. So that kind of breaks down to. With the option of consolidating with Cass County Sheriff's Office and the numbers there, we estimate that it will probably be less than this $110,000 number, just with some changes that we could make in the way that we do calls for service. But the 110 is probably on the high side of what that contract would cost us, so that equates, if you did that 110 number to about, or no, they charge $12 per call no matter what. So there's that base fee and then $12 per call after that. So that's kind of what that financial comparison looks like.
But basically, all those calls that we have been making for like gas and everything else, if we stopped making those calls, that number may go down more, correct?
Correct.
And then, so of course, nothing is going to be perfect, right? So there are things that you need to consider when thinking about this decision. It's not all 100% everything better. Yes, there are things that we'll have to think about doing, and things that, go into making this decision. So as I mentioned in the beginning, there are employee impacts here. We don't have positions to keep we would eliminate the dispatch positions with this model. So, and we don't have other positions open to keep those people. So, we've talked with those employees about what that would look like for them. But if this were to go through, we would lose those dispatch positions. So that is something to think about. Those are people. I'll let you speak to the rest of those.
We talked a little bit about the security system monitoring. That's one of the things we have to look at. Like, how are we going to do that moving forward, to your point? Outdoor warning siren activation. I think we have a pretty good solution for that. But again, until decisions are made, just thinking through potential scenarios. After hour calls for other city departments, services. We've talked through kind of how that would look moving forward. And there's, I'm sure, stuff up there that we don't have listed. So
What about the walk-in interaction with dispatch? I mean, is there?
So ideally, we put a phone in our lobby up there in our public lobby, and when somebody picks it up, there's only one number that will dial, and it would be Cass County's non-emergency dispatch line. Obviously, if they needed 911, we would hope that they would dial 911.
I'd like somebody there.
Isn't that what they do in Harrisonville? I don't know if it's the police or the sheriff, but don't you guys do something like that?
In our lobby.
In your lobby, yeah.
I've been talking to dispatch.
That's what I was thinking. I had to do that once.
I'd like somebody there.
I agree, I do think that we should have somebody on staff there.
So are we fully staffed in the police department?
No.
Well, let's hire another one. Have someone carry the keys and be there.
Well, I also have a question. Right now, when Baldwin Park calls, needs 911, do they come to us or do they come to the county?
They're in county's jurisdiction currently.
Okay,
So
I just wanted to see
that's
that
kind
they
of,
were included in our
yeah,
call.
it's kind of a interesting situation. It kind of depends on who's available at the time, but yeah.
Okay. I just didn't know if we were taking their calls as well.
I'd
That
also-
might reduce.
I'd like to hear from Chief Lopez as far as your guys' experience with the consolidation with the county.
We switched in 2007 is when the fire district moved dispatching services from Pleasant Hill Police. And at that time, the district board of directors chose to go with Lee Summit Fire Department. So that was the dispatching entity that they chose to move to. And that was a pay for service. So we were paying for that service. They did that all the way up until 2022. We were dispatched by Lee Summit Fire Department. When I was hired here in 2020, that was one of the areas that our board of directors had asked for us to take a long look at. There were financial impacts, but there primarily was efficiency impacts. That we had issues with drop times and calls and things of that nature, because that was still being routed through Pleasant Hill Police and then moving to another agency outside of the county. Our average drop time for any EMS call was roughly 8 minutes. So if you called 911 and you needed an ambulance in Pleasant Hill, whether you were in the city or in the county, the average drop time could be, on an average, was up to 8 minutes. And so that's a big deal. And so we looked at that and said, how can we be more efficient? And in the process of doing that, looking at efficiency, we had engaged the sheriff's office because our board of directors at the time also was looking at the financial impact, that they didn't like our tax dollars going outside of the county of Cass. And I tend to agree that we had taxpayers here in Pleasant Hill that their money was going outside of the city and outside of the county. And so for us, it was a very similar financial impact, not the same dollar amount, but the percentage wise. So we went from paying roughly $198,000 a year for dispatching services to $24,000 a year for dispatch service. And our drop time in call related for EMS and fire dropped to 2 minutes and 13 seconds.
What do you mean when you say your drop time?
That means that the time that someone made their initial 911 call to the time a unit was dispatched was, the average was 8 minutes.
8 minutes?
And we dropped that to 2 minutes and 13 seconds. So it is, there's a lot of technology that plays into that. With the technological consolidation that took place in 2023, it does allow now that dispatch is transferring those calls over, but it is also being transferred by their keystrokes. So once they're typing in that it's a Pleasant Hill fire call, it sends that technologically over to the Cass County Sheriff's Office, to where those dispatchers are receiving information before they ever get the 911 caller. So many times, what we're moving into now at the fire district is an all technological based dispatch. So we won't actually hear a dispatcher talking on the radio. It'll be the technological system speaking to us. We're trying to name her. It's a her, so we're trying to give her a name. But right now, we've had 2 other agencies in the county switch to that: South Metro Fire District and Belton Fire Department. Their average turnover time from the time they receive a 911 call to the time that information is being put out is 4 seconds. So it is truly efficient. It's a very good program. It's not free. So however, the amount of money that we saved back in late 2021 into 2022, the amount of money that we saved for dispatching services, we pushed that right into 911 efficiency. And so our relationship has been good with the Sheriff's Office. We're very fortunate here in Pleasant Hill that out of the municipalities in which they serve, we are one of the larger. So our relationship that I have with the Sheriff's Office, if there's decisions that are being made, they very much make sure that we are a voice at the table of changing not just what we do here in Pleasant Hill, but the county as a whole, if we're doing what's best. And that has been the resounding voice that I've got from the Sheriff's Office. And where we come from is we have to take good care of people. So #1 priority. So it's about the 911 caller when they make that call, of taking good care of people. If what we're doing doesn't take good care of people, then what are we doing? And so not just about dollars and cents, it's about taking good care of people. So our efficiency is good, and not that our relationship with Pleasant Hill PD is bad. That Central Square has really helped that, but the relationship that Chief Clay and I have is very good, because we still have dropped calls. We have things that we need to work on. If there's complaints that we come in and process for fire and EMS, we send those over. We review those as a group. Those are also sent to the Sheriff's Office for review. We can always be learning, and so we want to be able to do that. That just kind of gives you a quick snapshot of where we're at. We obviously are always looking at, are we doing the right thing for the right reason to take care of the person that is on the end of that phone call, because sometimes in our case it's a 4-year-old that has a mom that's unconscious and they need us there right now. And so we want to be as efficient as possible while keeping the taxpayer in mind that their money is being used efficiently.
So just to be clear, you would endorse us moving in this direction?
So, on the position of the fire district, we see great benefit in consolidation of services, because it does eliminate the middleman, so to speak, makes us more efficient, not taking away from anything that those folks that are currently doing in those positions, but we're seeing it across the nation. And with the amount of residents that we take care of here in Cass County, to have 5 PSAPs or answering points is on the high side. You look at other communities that service, 500,000, a million people, and many times they have 2, one for fire and EMS, one for police. And so, and that's nationwide. So, I can't speak directly for our board of directors, but we feel very strongly, our organization does. We see the benefit in consolidation technologically, and in some cases even physically.
There are only 3 operators
Thank you, sir.
that answer phones at the county at a time, on shift, 3 on each shift. There's only 3 of them, or?
Well, I believe you'd have to ask them specifically.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, ma'am, I didn't catch your question.
Are there really only 3 operators, I'm gonna call them operators, dispatchers at county?
There's 3 on a shift on a regular rotation, but in the daytime, there might be as many as 5 or 6 people working there. You have a director, an assistant director, you've got a couple of warrant clerks and people like that, and they all interact with those systems in various capacities. But minimum staffing for a dispatcher, there's 3 dispatchers on a time.
How many calls do they make?
Oh my God.
How many calls do 3 people make?
So there are 5 PSAPs in Cass County: Dalton, Raymore, Pleasant Hill, Harrisonville, and Sheriff's Office. We, on average, workload do about as much as the others combined in terms of, let me phrase that in a different way. We're the busiest. So there's a lot going on in there. But as you saw the statistics up here, we pay our people very well because they are first responders. We've been fully staffed for a long time. We actually run a little heavy. But we have a matrix that we have that says when the workload, be it phone calls or keystrokes, whatever it might be, gets to a certain point, we add staff. So it's not arbitrary. It's not like, oh, we're too busy. We actually have a matrix we use for that. 3 people on the shift is more than adequate to cover the workload that we currently have. They're very efficient.
I think 3 at a minimum that's good. 3 at a minimum is good.
Cass County is a very safe community to live in, so we are very blessed. It's a big county, it's growing fast, but yes, we're very blessed.
I have a question for our staff. When this was talked about in 2024, it seemed like, looking at the minutes and all of that, we didn't want to go for it. We didn't want to move towards this because it was said, I think Chief Wright and the former city administrator said that it would be cost a negative for us because our dispatchers do so much else. And so I'm just trying to understand how that changes for us now. I was kind of surprised to see that.
I can't really speak to that because I don't know what was presented or said then. I just know kind of where we're at now. So
okay.
Well, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I think prior when that was discussed, it was kind of led to we will eventually be forced to have to make a decision. And so we were just kind of holding off until we got forced to have to make a decision. And who owns our equipment now for dispatch? Do we own that?
No, it's like a conglomerate. All of those entities I spoke about earlier have kind of hands in that piece of it, right? So you have the Mid-American Regional Council, you have the different PSAP organizations. ESB has some of that. They help us out with the technology.
That's one of the things that I remember, and Nikki can probably correct me if I'm speaking wrong on that, but when that was discussed several years ago, was that they can come in at any time if they decided they're not going to, for a lack of a better term, keep upgrading, repairing, maintaining our equipment. Is that right?
That is correct. That's what I understand as well. But then my question is, because it sounds like there are a lot of benefits, and just playing devil's advocate here, why aren't other police departments, why would we be the first ones doing this if it's such a benefit?
Well, I think at the point in time that we are at with ours, it's time to make some decisions, right? I feel like we're either operating, and we're gonna continue operating with a kind of broken leg moving forward, or we're gonna decide to take an alternative approach, or we're gonna decide to fix the problem.
And
So
it's your opinion that this would make our police department safer, more efficient?
I believe it would, yes.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of having the staff dispatch with an experienced officer. I'd rather have them out there on the streets. But we need somebody down there, so there's still a lot more we need to talk about.
Yes, sir.
So I have one more question. It might be off topic, so just tell me to move on.
Okay.
When you said about doing walkthroughs through the jail, do you do that? I know when you have a prisoner.
Oh, okay.
Is an officer literally walking to the jail cell to make sure that there's no harm to that prisoner? Or is it we just monitoring it on a video?
No, the policy states that when we have the staff available, that the officer will go in and physically put eyes on the person being detained until such time as he's released from our holding period.
Right, because we have experienced problems with that
Yes,
in the
yes, ma'am.
past, so.
We sure have.
Did we not get sued? Somebody hung themselves or something?
I wasn't here for that, but
We did have.
I'm not sure what all transpired with that, but I believe there was an incident related to.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we have someone on staff that will be able to prevent something like that if possible,
Yep.
or address any public need.
Absolutely.
So feel free to keep asking any questions that you think of, just to kind of close out our informational piece of this. We were kind of working backwards from what it would look like to do an October 1 switch over to the county. So the plan is, as of now, unless you all say don't do this, would be to put the contract consideration on for your next council meeting on July 27th. That gives us a 60-day transition period to work with the county to iron out all those final details and get things switched over. And that is if you all did approve this. If we don't want to go this direction, which is our recommendation, if you all chose that you don't want to go this direction, we have to do something differently. I think from our presentation, it's pretty clear that what we're doing is not sustainable. So if you all want to keep dispatch in-house, we need to commit more resources to it. And we have to identify where those resources are going to come from. So if we want to pay our people what they're getting paid, what their counterparts are making in other dispatch centers, we're looking at 60,000 plus in wages and benefits. And then I think it's probably worth looking at additional funds for dedicated IT support for in that function.
That's one issue that was talked about in 2024, is because the IT that would be involved has a lot of personal privacy. There's a lot of personal risk involved with that, and a lot of
Liability.
yeah, a lot of liability with that. So that would be a benefit, I think, for us to not have to incur that.
I would like to see from you, Chief, a written plan to how this is gonna work before I'm gonna sign off on it. I mean, you can look at the dollars and cents. Like you said, it comes down to the people. And I need to see that, and I need to be confident in that plan. The money, this potential savings, it's a tertiary concern. It's about the people. We're talking about public safety here.
Well, and I mean, I think Chief Lopez said it best. I mean, you know, that's what it's about. It's, you know, how can we continue to, you know, to service our community and make sure that we're doing it efficiently and effectively. And it just seems like at this point we're not doing it efficiently and effectively. So, you know, there's two different ways we can go here with it.
Well, it seems to me like when we have an officer setting in dispatching, that you're risking public safety right there. I mean, you're not out on the street patrolling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just wanna make sure that we have, like, I think, I agree 100% on that. And I just wanna make sure that we do have some kind of plan here for the non-emergency, for staffing our police department.
I hate to put that on your desk, but.
Welcome to the job.
Right, right.
Is there anything else from the council?
Well, I guess I'm a little confused. So does that mean then we are just saying it's status quo? We're not asking you to do anything at this point other than what Zach asked?
I think the plan would be to bring that plan with us to the next council meeting where we're bringing forward that contract for your consideration.
Is there a way that you could look at, I mean, the cost if we were to keep somebody in there to, like they said, till 7 o'clock or something for walk-in, non-emergency, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, but that's something we can explore.
Yeah,
It just gives you some options to look at.
I do think there's a lot of benefit in keeping up with our technology and having one service point for our residents versus two different types depending on which type of call.
Yeah.
I do think that that is a huge benefit for all of our residents as a whole. But I also want to make sure that we're serving our public. We have somebody there watching the jail, somebody who can answer the, like, who said it? I think it was maybe Dana, that, you know, if somebody needs help and they're gonna go to the police department if they're not feeling comfortable, so we're gonna have somebody there that's gonna be like, oh yeah, sure. That's my concern.
Anything else from council? All right, at this time, what I will do is I will open up the floor to the public. If anyone from the public would like to ask a question or has a concern, what we will do is we won't address that particular question right now, but what we will do is we'll make sure that it gets addressed before the next council meeting or at the next council meeting. So if there's anyone from the public that would like to comment.
I'll go first. I'm already at my leg broken. Hi guys. First of all, I came here thinking something different because I thought it was going to be the same discussion that we've had in the past about being forced to do this, and obviously that's not.
Your name and address.
Oh, I'm sorry, Carla Murray. Everybody knows me. Carla Murray, 300 North Campbell Street here in Pleasantville. Sorry. So anyway, I thought it was going to be more of a discussion about being forced to do this, which I had an issue with because there is no county plan to do this. So, but now we're approaching it in a different way than we have in the past. And we're approaching it more as a cost savings and a people issue. And that I appreciate. And I appreciate the way that that's being handled, very much, and I know it's supposed to address this that way, thank you. My question would be, would we be, if this happens, which frankly some of it makes a lot of sense, if it happens, would we no longer be, we would no longer be on the emergency board, emergency system board for Cass County, is that correct? Will we be removed as one of the PSAP, so then there would only be the 4, right? Harrisonville, Peculiar, Belton, and Raymore, but we would no longer be on that board, as positioned in that board. That's a question. I'm sorry, I saw this in the video. So that was the question that I had, and I really like what Zach said. I'm just giving my opinion as a resident. I would like somebody to be there overnight. If we hired somebody to just kind of be the lobby person, that maybe they can do paperwork for, that needs to be done or something, but they're there in the building so that if somebody is being followed around town or feels very uncomfortable, they can go to the police station. It's not going to do them any good to go call 911. They can do that on their cell phone. They're going there because they need help from somebody immediately, because somebody's in the process of going to hurt them. So anyway, I really like that point, and I just wanted to share that. And I really appreciated all that that you guys had put into this. I had one question. It said $12 a call, but then before the slide before that, it talked about that there was a, I can't remember, 1,500 or 1,200. Is that a one-time fee? Is that a monthly fee?
Yearly.
Yearly. Okay, that's what I wasn't sure of. Okay, thank you guys.
Sorry, to see my ugly face again.
It's okay.
Glenn Mayu, 707 Henley. I support the central dispatch, and working with different large corporations that I've worked with in the past, it does raise efficiency, but for every pro, there's always a con. And such as, one point in time, we had nationwide dispatch until the dispatch center went down. You can see the confusion. So with today's technology, and anything can be hacked, it appears. So to me, that's one of the negatives of the central dispatch. I'm sure Cass County has it pretty secure, but it does not mean it's not, okay. That's the main one right there. I think we need to look at the cons also. The chief, I imagine he's chief of what, EMS? Fire department. Yeah. I mean, he brought up great points. But there's always, something's gonna slip through the cracks and someone could get injured, or someone's not gonna get a service. It's just my 2 cents.
Well, I think our Cass County sheriffs here could comment on that.
I'm sorry.
What do you have for a dragnet?
He was being.
As far as your security.
Question, I didn't catch that.
Well, he was concerned about the security.
Okay. Security for?
The dispatch.
In what context?
The
building?
No. In case the system goes down, as an example.
Okay, at the system. So the Mid-America Regional Council for the Kansas City metropolitan area runs the system, the 911 system for the entire region. We are actually for Cass County the backup for everyone else. But yes, it happens. Belton had a roof leak over their 911 dispatch centers earlier this year. It dropped everything down, but they were down at the county running in, 40 minutes up and running. The system is just that. One component can go down, the rest of the system still runs. So we just pick up, Belton came down to our house that night, and dispatched from there, and nobody knew any different.
Satellite systems.
Somewhat. It gets really technical.
So my question about that, since you're the backup and we're going directly to the backup, who is the backup for the backup?
So there's redundancy, right? There's 5 PSAPs in Cass County. If we go down, then we would go to another. Actually, we don't go to Cass County. We're too big to go to another agency in Cass County. Mid-America Regional Council has built a backup center. That's all it is in Kansas City. And we go up there quarterly just to get on the systems and log in and do some refresher training and that. That's our backup.
South Patrol up in Kansas City, they have 25 consoles in the basement of the police department that's online 24/7. they don't use them, but it's Kansas City's backup as well, not there we go.
My problem is that I trust people, this gentleman here. When you start saying Kansas City, I don't know.
We just use their equipment.
It's still our people, it's still our people.
Does anyone else have a comment?
John Self, 205 South Campbell. Can we go back to the slide that had the $100,000 annual fee and then the call fee on it? Oh, right there. First, I just want to make sure I understand this. If I call because of a fireworks complaint or just because I'm lonely, is that costing the city $12, or is that a $12 call every time an officer calls in? What defines that $12 call? I don't know that I agree with this because we're looking at our annual cost for dispatch services and dialing it down by call. But we really need to take that $12 if it is, public calling in and compare it to the numbers that were 3 or 4 slides back that had how many calls a year they were putting in order to see what the total cost would be per year with the $110,000 plus the number of calls.
So it's like 7,500 is around $90,000 extra dollars. So that's like should say it's going to cost us at least $200,000.
Right.
Around to it.
I'm
Because
sorry.
it does look very confusing.
I'd like to clarify. That number was the number that the sheriff's office gave us as an estimate. So that's not in addition to, it's $12 per call for our call volume. It's not in addition to the 110. That was just their estimate by looking at our call volume.
Okay. Because the way it reads, it looks like it's 100. That's the base price plus the $12 per call.
Sure, yeah.
Well,
Sorry for the confusion.
and based on the previous data, we had 5,800 calls, so let's say 10,000, $12 a call, it's 120,000.
Right.
So that estimate is.
So it looks like
in the
they're freeing
ballpark.
up $320,000 for someone to sit down there 24/7 if you want them to do stuff.
Well, the cost savings is not.
So my other 2 points were just the question, how often do calls get dropped in this transfer process that we have now versus when they go direct? And then what does the city like Peculiar do for their services, and how would that compare to how we are now versus what we're looking to do? So those were just that.
The city of Peculiar gets their dispatching from radio. And as far as a drop, that system doesn't. A PSAP to PSAP, that there should not, I'm not going to say it can't happen, should not be a drop in a transfer.
But it's not like when I try to call customer service and get dropped.
No. Okay, it's not.
All right, thank you.
Claudia Fralick, 24503 East 172nd Terrace. I have a question for you, Chief, I'm sorry. Where do the cops go to work if they're not here? When they walk into work, will they just jump in their car and leave? That's a question I have. They don't have anybody to talk to. And also $17.98 for dispatch is ridiculous. I think minimum wage is $15 an hour. I can't believe we're paying our dispatchers who I had put my life in their hands when I had an accident, and they were there in 5 minutes. I live West County. I was so impressed. IT, could we use the school's IT guy? I don't know. It's just an idea. And
That's also an idea that I have.
yes,
Because we use him at the clinic.
Okay,
He's
yeah.
very good.
Yeah, he is very good. And also what you said was about when you get gas, you actually have to call still and say, hey, I'm getting gas. Okay, I was a FedEx driver for 30 years. I had a debit card. It showed what the timestamp, what I did. I did not bother calling dispatch. They made $40 an hour and start out at 27. And that's a very stressful job too. You're dealing with 150 crews on the road, griping, accidents, whatever there is, customers calling, they patch them to dispatch. That amount of money you need to pay our people what they're worth, because I'll tell you what, they do a lot of good stuff. The girl that got last April 15th, I fell at my house by myself. She was awesome. She would not get off the phone with me because I was by myself. And she was making $18 an hour. Yeah, smaller than us as far as, I don't know, per capita, I think it's like 10,000 for Raymore. We're about 10,000, am I wrong? I don't know.
There's a lot more people there.
Here?
There.
There, yes.
A lot more.
Right. I thought somebody said that, we're busier than Belton or Raymore. Who said that?
Cass County.
Fire department was busier.
The fire department's busier.
What the COLA that the Cass County Sheriff's Office takes is greater than any other agency. They cover the entire county.
Okay, so we are busier.
The Cass County Sheriff's Office call load is busier than any other agency in the county.
Okay.
So Cass County's busier than anybody else. It's
So
not,
Cass
it's
County-
not that Pleasant Hill is busier, it's just that Cass County is.
Belton's Belton and we're Pleasant Hill and Cass
And our
County.
fire district is very busy because they cover a very large area.
I can see that, yeah. Belton is huge. I mean, Pleasant Hill is humongous. I've driven and I've worked and and by the way, the acoustics on these are not the greatest. I can barely hear and I'm like, you have to be like this, you have to project your voice and just, I can't, I'm like straining, but anyway. I think we need to pay our people more money wherever they go. I mean, we should be comparable if we're so large too. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just have one quick one, sorry. I did want to know, if we make this change and we don't like it, are we locked in, or is it something we can go back to? And if we do want to change it back, what's the cost associated with that? Sorry.
It's all right. I, Marla Largent, 1908 Cypress Way. By any chance, did any of you guys enroll in the Citizens Academy at Cass County? No one? Well, not only is it your loss, but it's our loss too, if you don't know what all that they have in Cass County to help us in any type of emergency situation. And if you take it, in fact, you might ask them, you can go into dispatch and see what they have. It's the most professional room and people I have come across in my years of, I don't know, being a badge bunny or whatever I am. But you would see that there's no worries. They are on it, they have teams, they're back and forth, and they don't even wipe a sweat. I mean, they even have a board to say who owns cows in the area. They have everything you could think of taken care of. So before you guys vote, it would be nice if you would talk to them and see if you can't maybe look at dispatch there. Because
I've already seen their dispatch, because I used to be on the emergency management board for Cass County. But yeah, it is an amazing facility.
It is, and amazing people who run it. So if you have any doubts, ask them for that.
My cousin was a lifer in Cass County Sheriff's Office.
Okay, I'm glad you continued with Sheriff's. Okay, is there any other
Actually, you have a thing. Hank Weeks, 1307 Sturgis Street. Hank Weeks, 1307 Sturgis Street. We kind of breezed over it really quickly, but you said we have over 700 hours of overtime. And that's a time and a half for the, I feel like there's a little bit of room in the budget for a raise. And that would, and as he said, they pay their people well, so they keep people on staff longer. I feel like there's room in the budget at 700 plus hours of time and a half. I just felt like we kind of breezed over that really quickly and didn't really get talked about. That's a lot, right? So they probably weren't making $17 an hour when they answered their call because they were probably time and a half. So anyway, just wanted to make sure that was brought up.
1999.
Not yet. That's it.
Okay.
Debbie K. Hendricks, I'm on 406 Lawndale in Pleasant Hill, Missouri. And to add to his, I don't want to say where the person lives, but I know of a dispatch that's in Cass County. And I told her about, hey, Pleasant Hill needs them. And she said if they paid more, I'd be there right now.
That turnover is a lot. That's a bunch of people. That's a great job. I would love to be a dispatcher. I think it's interesting. But we gotta pay the people to do it. And and to protect the officers in the fire department as well. I mean, they're there as a lifeline. My best friend was IPL and it's kind of light, and she left at almost $50 an hour 5 years ago.
Okay, if there are no others that want to speak, we'll close this for now, and we'll have you bring it back to us again after we can address some of these concerns and others that the council may have after tonight, and then can bring forth a plan for us to for the council to vote on at our next meeting. Okay. Is there anything else that the council would like to discuss?
I have one thing. I've been thinking about this for several months, actually, even when I first became an elected official. And there's no real set of rules, directions, manual, whatever you want to call it, for a new council person to go look at. To say, this is why we run a meeting this way, this is how motions are made, we can't do a discussion until there's a second on it. And there's a lot of legal ramifications when we do something wrong there, where we can be held, and correct me if I'm not saying this right, but where we can be held personally responsible. It can cause a monetary impact to our community, to our citizens, to the county, the city, excuse me, and to us personally. And I have been talking to some other cities where they have some rules already established, you know, that is when you're a new council member that you can look at, you can review and say, oh, this is why we do what we do. And I would like to see if there's something that we could work on, because I think it would be a benefit. It would help our meetings run more smoothly. It would help our community if we could educate our community better. And it would help our individual new council members. Might even help some of us old ones.
Yeah, what you're referring to in a lot of communities is called the council rules of procedure. So that does exactly as you mentioned. It talks about, you know, public comment. It talks about motions, how we pass resolutions, pass ordinances, how, you know, Mayor Pro Tem is selected, all those things, so that when someone comes on, they know exactly how it all works, and there's no question about that. So if there's council consensus there, we could have our legal team kind of start drafting a draft council rules of procedure, just to make sure that that's direction from the council as a whole.
Is that something that the council would like to?
Well, I was an FFA, so I know parliamentary procedure, so.
It's not a bad idea.
I'm a good old boy.
I agree. I think it would be great to have some kind of outline for us and for the public so that everybody's on the same page with how a meeting should run. I think in September of 2025, John King actually asked staff to do rules of decorum and meeting procedure. So I think that it would be good. I don't think that ever came back, so I think it's a great idea.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, I would say that that's consensus.
Yeah, the fire and ambulance board, new members, and then we have annual Zoom meetings that are trained offered by the state that we need to attend, and the school board does the same thing.
We also have a newly elected officials training that you go to as well.
I did see that the MML had posted you can do the classes online, that they had, I think it's $10 a course, something like that. We can go back and review as well, so that's an option for us.
Yeah, and those are great resources. I think what's nice about adopting your own set rules of procedure is that you might want to do things differently than another community might, so it just gives you the ability to set it up how you want it to be set up.
Is there anything else from council?
I just had a couple of quick things, sorry. It's just things people have asked. Is there an update on when, if 7 Highway is done with the sidewalks and if they're gonna come get their cones soon?
Tony?
as far as I know, the sidewalks are all completed, everything is seeded. The cones, I think there was another company that they had hired to do all the traffic control. I think they're waiting for that company to come next time. But I can try to reach out to Amina Brothers and see when that is scheduled to be done.
They weren't leaving those as extra for us for the fair.
Well, I was thinking about taking our trailer up there.
So the next question I have is if there is an update as far as the time capsule goes on where we are in that process with the restoration for the public.
Good question, Jessica.
Kylie is still communicating with the preservationist. Several of the items have been, they're still sitting out there drying. Just as an update, like there were many items that were very thick, so think church hymnals, things like that, and so it does take time. Things that have been completely dried, as an example, what we posted that one picture of with their permission is the Goppert bank bag. So it has been wiped off and it is ready for, they have told us that honestly the best storage can be even in like a cardboard, like boxes and or like storage air like tight containers. So they will be put in that until such time that we have made a decision on when we are going to have our postponed event. But it will still remain secured within the police department, but not everything is completely dry yet.
So we're still kind of in that whole
Yeah, she was actually just here today doing some more flipping and turning. That's how they dry it. That something will sit there and then they just kind of keep coming and turning it. They don't turn pages until they're completely dried to prevent damage. So some of those things have to have pages turned like every day. So some of the larger items, their actual preservation method is freezing. So we did actually move a freezer into that area. And so some of those things have been in a freezer. They freeze dry them and then they take them out and that starts the drying process.
Okay, thank you. And then my last question is for Amy. The 2026, I know you gave us an update on 2026, I think it was 2 meetings ago. Have we completely closed 2026 fiscal year?
Financially, yes, and my yearly financial auditors are here this week, so we'll work on that audit.
Okay, yeah, I just didn't know if we could see like, this is what we budgeted, this is like just the very simple, like, this is where we ended up, this is what we budgeted, this is where we ended up.
Okay.
I thought that was provided.
A few weeks ago, I did a year-end with.
That's actually.
So every quarter, I will be coming up with a presentation for financials, like at the end of June, those financials will be more up to date on them. Let me know.
Yeah, okay.
But once the auditors are finished, then we will have.
They will present something as well.
Yeah, we'll have final, like, audited numbers. Okay, unless there's anything else, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion and a second, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Councilwoman Niner?
Yes.
Councilman Boomer?
Yes.
Councilman Patterson?
Yes.
Councilman Elliott?
Yes.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
How many years have you been on
Then I'll just say he's back for 3 more days. You're good. That was the one thing I needed to add.